What's up, Mission Pro peeps? How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to
Hello.
Unmatched. I am Front Row. Joining me is the best host from the West Coast, Trenda. What's up, Trenda?
Hey, front row. Nothing much. Just having a long, busy work week and looking forward to tomorrow. But I've got a lot of great wrestling that I saw this week. That I'm ready to talk about. So let's go.
Awesome. Man, we've got a ton of people in the chat already. I see Brian, Marks, Tony Justice is in there, Mrs. Front Row. I see Mogrovian Mike, R.A. Davis. Man, all of our Mission Pro faithful are in there, and people are still piling in. There's a line out the front door. But
Wow. I see my arch nemesis is back, Marks. Okay. Let's see how this is
boo.
going to go.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. But before we get into the wrestling talk, today is May 4th. May the 4th with you. As you can see, Star Wars garb. I've got Grogu over here. I've got my Star Wars shirt. And
Yeah.
representing, I got my Veda Scott shirt, Darth Vader, on.
I see you're all ready and prepared and got your your all your little items together making me look bad, but it's okay. I'm still a Star Wars fan, at heart.
Okay. Okay. Oh, I got one more surprise for you.
All
For
right.
Christmas this year, Mrs. Front Row bought me the coolest thing. She had a custom lightsaber made.
Oh wow. Oh my God,
Son,
look at that.
is this cool?
Okay, now I'm
And
super jealous because okay, see, it was one thing to have the shirts and this is ridiculous. That is so awesome. So when you move it around, it does certain. Look at the
yep,
color
it changes
change.
colors too. Yep.
All right, I see what I'm putting in my bag the next time I leave from your house. But
It is very cool. I think at some point we're gonna put it over above the title belt behind me. Got a case made or something for it.
that's
Um,
great. Wow.
but yeah, so I think pretty much everybody on the Mission Pro team are Star Wars fans. I know Brian and Thunder and myself and you and everybody has different memories of the movies. We've seen them all a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Um, not to go too deep into it, but like when I was a kid, I saw Star Wars opening weekend in 1977 with my dad, and I've been a fan since. So, um, in
I
the
didn't.
chat, I want you guys to just real quick. I want the guys, the folks in the chat, to give us what is your favorite Star Wars movie of all the
Well, I
movies that
just
have
want
been?
to say I did not make it to that 1977 debut. Considering that's the year I was born. So I did catch Star Wars probably about 10 years later and start watching it and became a fan. And I even had a Star Wars marathon last year where I just went through all the episodes, the cartoons, the little series that they have on Disney Plus. So yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
Yeah, and I think it was, when the prequels came out, episodes 1, 2, and 3, there was a lot of pushback and things like that. But on the rewatch, Jar Jar Binks notwithstanding, like they were good movies. Like they were really interesting stories being told that tied everything together. And as of course the remainder of the movies came out. But I
Yeah.
think for me, my favorite movie is still Rogue One. I think a lot of Star Wars fans feel like Rogue One is, one of the best.
Uh,
Okay.
Me as well. Me as well. I have to agree with you there.
Okay, I have to give a shout out to Davina in the chat. Spaceballs. Huge Spaceballs fan. Huge.
Solo is very good too. Shout out to RA. I like
Yep.
Solo as well. Yeah, definitely. I like majority of all of them. So it's not like you're gonna give me there's one like, oh, I don't like. So
Yeah. So, and of course, if you go and watch Disney Plus, there's a whole bunch of different shows that tie a lot of that continue a lot of those storylines on. I'm just a huge fan of all of it. So, all right,
yes.
let's jump into some of the cool stuff that's going on here in Mission Pro. Man, there's just so much stuff leading into trailers June. This week I believe Emily and Veda announced this match. If I can find it here. Maya
Yes.
World and Brittany Brooks.
Yeah.
Maya,
Maya
actually,
was
this
on
is an
Emily
interesting
show
interview.
this week. Yes, she was. And she was very entertaining, very bright young lady. I'm looking forward to seeing her in person on June 10th at True Colors. Looking forward to seeing what she's going to do. And her opponent both will be making their debut. So this is going to be a great match to
Mm-hmm.
see. Yeah, looking forward to it. Totally. Yeah.
Me too. And earlier today, we get notification from Mission Pro Management that we are to announce a match this evening. Two competitors that we've seen really making a name for themselves. We're going to see Emmy Camacho and Tiffany Nieves face off. Both
Wow.
this is a huge matchup because both
Yes.
Emmy and Tiffany have been making statements. We saw Tiffany had a victory over Shea Carmichael, and Emmy had a victory over Mia Friday at Edge of Glory. Both really great matches. And if you go onto our socials, you can see some post match videos from both women. So, what are your thoughts on this matchup?
Well, both of these women are hungry for the title. Like you can tell they're both gunning for the same thing. And this match is basically important to both of them because it's probably going to determine which one of them end up in the title, in a title match championship against our champion Genocide. I mean, they're both doing great. As you said, they both just won their matches, and now they're going against each other, and they have a lot to prove to everybody else and to themselves. So this is going to be a match, a very hard hitting match too, I believe, because these ladies have a goal in mind, and it's that championship belt. And this match right here is going to eliminate one or the other out of that title championship run. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with this.
And I see Brian in the chat. He's got a Brian bomb. He's always got breaking news. This should be interesting. Maybe an update on this match.
Breaking news from Brian.
Apparently.
Okay, okay. I'm waiting
Well,
to
okay.
hear what that could be.
We'll give him a second.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing these two ladies. They have a lot at stake here.
Okay, Brian says this is officially a number one contenders match.
What?
Let's
Look at that.
go.
Look at that. Look at that. Am I psychic? Am I psychic or what? Like, what is this? Beautiful. Beautiful.
It's like you're paying attention to the product. It's so cool.
Wow, yeah, breaking news right here on our show. Great, thank you so much, Brian. Now and now, look at the stakes are even more high at this match. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing these ladies in person. Of course, saying in person because I will be there for True Colors. So yeah.
Yes. Yep. A whole bunch of us are going to be descending on San Antonio for that show. I know some folks from the Nation's Corner are traveling. We're traveling. A lot of people are going to be there. It's going to be a really fun show. So that's going to be on June 10th. Make sure if you're in the area, you get tickets at Mission Pro Wrestling at gmail.com. You can email us at missionprowrestling@gmail.com for sponsorship opportunities. missionprowrestling.com for tickets. Tickets are selling very quickly. I know first and second row for all of our shows sell out. And if you want to sit in those VIP seats, you probably want to get those tickets sooner rather than later.
Yes.
Not even a hype. They go quickly. They really do. So yeah, I'm excited for that. And of course, if you're not able to join us in San Antonio, we'll be on Title Match Network live. I believe 5:30, no, 6 o'clock is bell time. 5:30 is the pre-show Central Time.
Can't
So
wait.
that's going to be awesome. The other breaking news was yesterday, actually today, this morning, I saw it on our socials. The Men's Revolution posted a video, and we can only guess at what this is going to mean. But JP Harlow and Joey Hyder were, I think, either coming out of training or a Taco Bell. I wasn't really clear on that.
One or the other, trading
One or
or
the other.
I don't know, but
You
they
never know.
were coming out of a facility. It looked like it was training. They had some bags, some training bags with them.
We'll assume they were training.
Okay.
And JP did get a call from what we understand, Thunder Rosa, who,
Mhm.
according to JP, the match that is scheduled, the 4-way tag match with Men's Revolution. Men's Revolution will now be, again, according to what JP was saying, Joey Hyder and Boss Baines rather than JP being involved in that match.
Yes.
Also, according to JP, he'll be in singles action against the debuting Black
Mhm.
Swan. We are still waiting for confirmation from Mission Pro Management as to whether these matches are official or not. So stay tuned to all our socials for any updates. But it's pretty exciting.
Now, what I can say is if this match between JP and Black Swan does become official, JP better look out because Black Swan, even though not having as much experience, is definitely a force to be reckoned with. And every lady right now is gunning for the men's revolution. No woman in Mission Pro right now is on the team of the men's revolution. So, with that being said, they better watch out because they have a lot coming to them towards them on June 10th. And they haven't been very nice to everybody. So don't expect anybody to be nice to them.
That's very true. Although I did like the moment when for a moment JP thought he might be facing off against Natalie Portman, which okay ties into the whole Star Wars Day.
Of course. Only he.
Yeah. Man, so we are going to have a blast. Everyone's going to have a good time in San Antonio. Make sure you catch us on Title Match, as I mentioned, and also email us for sponsorship opportunities. Um, so let's dive into some other news. There was a lot of cool stuff happened this week. You know, Friday and Monday in WWE, we had the draft. We saw the WWE draft. And I'm not
Yes.
going to run down the whole thing. Uh, Brian, JP versus Padme. I like that.
Wow.
My money's on Padme.
Definitely.
Queen
Anybody,
Amidala.
anybody other than the revolution, my money's on.
Hey, if we could
Not
get JP versus Jar Jar
being
Binks, I'd be
biased
here
at
for
all.
that too. Yeah, yeah. So for the draft, it was interesting because we always look forward to the draft for not only like the shakeup of talents, but also what call ups we might see. And I think we all
Yeah,
had some predictions. We talked about that last week, right?
definitely,
But there
definitely.
were some real surprises on this one.
Well, I mean, yeah, because I think they did something this time with the call ups that nobody expected because usually the champions don't get called up. Yeah, and then we had the tag team women's champions and then the women's title champion both get called up to the what we would call the main roster. And then we even saw the match this past week where the tag team champions defended their belts and they didn't even lose the titles. Like, that was something interesting. Now we know that the title belt, of course, with Indy is a different story because of her situation.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, WWE is doing something different this time, and I'm actually looking forward to seeing what's going to happen because having a women's tag team, get called up is basically a good thing in my mind because we're going to see a lot more. At least I hope to see a lot more interaction in their women's tag team division.
Well, yeah, that's the interesting part, right? Because when we saw the call up, which was a shock, I was like, okay, this is the reigning defending NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. And then, so the assumption, I guess, from a fan's perspective, is that we were going to tune into NXT on Tuesday. They would drop the titles and move on. That, like you said, that didn't happen. So you're like, okay. And on commentary, they mentioned that they would continue to defend those titles everywhere. I'm like, okay, I'm here for that.
Yeah, yeah. And another thing that lets you to believe, of course, that they'll still be defending them in NXT, which is a great thing as well, because it still gives them the opportunity to work I guess you want to say work up, and work on reps more so than work up, because they're already called up, but work more so on reps because they'll have multiple times to defend or even be shown on television, um, being the champions. So I'm all for that. I like the fact that they're going to be able to defend on multiple brands and get more time to be seen on television, hopefully, and work on themselves as individuals.
Yeah, I agree. And for Indy Hartwell came out to the
Mhm.
ring and addressed the audience on crutches, and she clearly has an injury from the match last week,
Yeah.
and she cut. I mean, she just spoke from the heart. It was just an incredible
Yeah.
promo. My God, but as she's leaving the ring, we saw Dexter Loomis come out from under the ring, and the reuniting of Index. I just thought it was the perfect end to her NXT career. I thought it was super cool.
I was so touched by that moment. And I'm not a mushy person. I'm really not, for the most part, a mushy person, but to see Dexter come from under that ring, and of course not seeing Dexter in NXT in so long, so you would have never thought that was going to happen. But to see him come from under that ring and carry her off like he always does, with this silent serial killer loving demeanor that he has, and carry her off into the sunset, was just a perfect ending. I loved it. I loved it. Beautiful storytelling right there. Beautiful.
Yeah, and they honored the title by having women come in and sort of face off one by one. And then there was this big brawl at the end, just showing you the intensity that is around this title, because that NXT Women's Championship has been held by some of the best to ever do it. So it continues that legacy. So I thought it was really cool, really well done. But for me personally, and for us in Mission Pro, like the one person that we were really hoping to get called up, Zoe Stark.
It's nice. Yeah.
Zoe Stark, formerly Lacey Ryan in Mission Pro. She was a big part of our early pay-per-views, and we've just seen her star. She's just skyrocketed ever since we saw her make her debut. So I'm super happy for her.
Yes, yes. Congratulations to her. I can't wait to see what storyline she's in, who she's gonna align herself with, who she's not gonna align herself with, and hopefully they treat her as the dominant force that she is, because she is very, very intimidating over the screen. So I hope that dominance that she has, that intimidation, carries over into her new role on SmackDown or Raw. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so she was drafted to Raw,
Okay.
and that brings into there's so many matchup opportunities there. I'm going to be interested to see if she carries on her current sort of bad guy attitude that she developed at the end of her run in NXT. I think
Hmm.
her turn, maybe last fall or whenever that happened, really gave her an edge, and it brought up the levels of the character side. She already had the in ring. And for me and for us, like those of us that are fans of Busted Open, like we've been listening to Bully Ray and Mark Henry just
Praise her
shower
for
her with
taking
praises
time.
for over a
Yes,
year.
yes, yes. So definitely, yeah. Speaking of which, I have a thought that I was pondering on. So with this draft that we have here, just in general with Raw and SmackDown. So we saw Rhea get drafted to the opposite brand. We saw um, um, the other title, Bianca get
Yeah.
drafted to the opposite brand, both holding their current titles. And yet, we see that there's going to be a pay per view coming up, and yet nothing has been said about what these titles are going to be. Like, what exactly is going on here? Like, this is the most confusing thing. And one thing I've always been told from listening to Busted Open as a wrestling fan is things should not be confusing. You might not know what's going to happen next. You might, be in suspense. You might be angry at situations. You might be happy, but confused should not be a thing. And I'm so confused with this because, like, what are they doing? At the same time, they've sit here and brought in, and this, there's nowhere here or there for our show, but at the same time, with the men's titles, they've brought in a new title, and then you have Roman, who's the universal champion. Now you have this world championship. I mean, why don't they do the same thing for the women? Why don't you just give a universal women's championship to the world women's championship? That way we don't have to worry about it. Then when they flip flop on the brands and everything, you just take your different name belt with you. Just take your different name belt with you. It means nothing. Like, what are they doing to me? I need some type of clarity. This is not clear for me, and I need to understand what's going on. And if I've never had a rant before, I think that's my first.
Okay, I'm going to mark that down. But no, that's a good point, because when on the last draft, on the last shakeup, Charlotte and Becky had that swapping in the titles that just went.
Oh
It
my
looked terrible
God.
on TV. It was a mess. I hope they don't do something similar.
That in itself and that was something else I was thinking about too. Like, God, please don't let them do the, hey, you take my bill, I take your bill, let's go home type of thing. Like, that's probably gonna burn my feathers more than just not understanding what they're going to do. But at this point, I just need to understand what's going on, and I need WWE to give me a little clarity what they're going to do with these titles. They're on opposite brands. The women are defending them this weekend, and then again they're like, the colors are off. Like, we need to color coordinate, people. The colors are off right now. We need to see the true colors for each brand. Right now they're off. So no pun intended. True colors.
I like it. I like it. But okay, so if we go with the logic of the NXT Women's Tag Titles being defended on SmackDown, and RA mentions this too. What if the Raw Women's title and the SmackDown title are actually just defended on the opposite brands until such point that they lose it at a co-branded pay-per-view? It's possible.
Yes,
It would be odd,
well,
but
that's the thing about it. It would be so, and I would be waiting and just anticipating to see what's going to happen. Like, every week, every pay per view. Like, when are they going to start color coordinating again? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
okay.
I'm not a writer. I'm not a professional. I'm just a fan. So, but I'm just saying, it is something that is disturbing, just in my little wrestling mind.
I like Tony. WWE is the blue-green dress right now. That's all
Thank you,
right, Tony.
Tony. Thank you.
But it's going to be fun. So we've got the pay per view this weekend. Backlash is this weekend. I believe it's Sunday or Saturday. I forget which day it is. But you're right. So the draft officially takes place
Mhm.
starting Monday Night Raw. So as of today, those changes haven't taken place, but they will take place on Monday. So we'll see what the outcome of the pay per view is, and that'll sort of give us some idea of where we're headed. But a lot of exciting matchups. So and on the men's side, of course, there was a lot of great movement as well. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we could talk about that another time. Um, okay, so let's shift gears here for a second and talk some AEW, because
Okay.
some of the news coming out of AEW, and it's not really been made official, but for folks that were in attendance, they realized pretty quickly that the news is that Dark and Dark Elevation are going to be retired as brands, which, I mean, I have mixed feelings about, because I think it gave a lot of people opportunities. We get a lot of independent talent that got a spotlight on there, and it gave a lot of wrestlers opportunity to get, like you said before, reps. But I
Yeah.
don't think people were
So
really
that was
watching it.
um okay. So I think
Hmm.
I think to that point, last week when we were talking, we brought up some subject, and then you were saying, I think it was the Ring of Honor women. And we were saying pretty much that I thought that, Ring of Honor women, other than maybe Willow, are kind of distinctive to Ring of Honor, but you said that these women show up on Dark and Dark Elevation. And um Yeah, and I said, well, since I don't watch them, I would know. So it kind of makes your point in theirs, that really, I mean, if I am, as I say, I am the fan, and I am not really, and I don't want to say I'm not into it, because there are times where I do catch it. I'm just not, I don't watch it on a regular, like it's not on a high priority scale for me to watch that. Because again, there is so much more wrestling going on with MLW, with Impact and AEW, WWE, and New Japan, and then I, 3 hours of busted open 6 days a week, and then a master's class. I mean, it's like so much going on in the world, and then I do have to eat and sleep. It's so, with all of that, it's hard to catch certain shows that, even though, and when I do watch them, I do enjoy it. When I can catch it, I do enjoy it. And I did love the fact that they were able to allow the talent to be able to, be able to practice that way. Like you said, get reps. But at the same time, if you're judging it off of me, I yeah, I ain't watching it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like if I see, folks that are working in Mission Pro or have worked in Mission Pro and I see them getting an opportunity, I'll make the effort to go and fast forward through the show to get to their matches and see how they did against some of the top stars in AEW. I do make that effort, but I don't know how valuable those matches are because they're usually fairly short. So it's not like they're getting 15-20 minute matches. They're usually 2 or 3 minutes, but it is a spotlight. And but the other piece of that is, the rumor is, again, rumor and innuendo, right? The rumor is that there's another, AEW has a show in development called Collision. We've seen absolutely nothing from AEW to confirm any of this stuff, but
Yes.
supposedly it's going to be a Saturday night show. I did talk to somebody who was at AEW last night, and they confirmed that they taped a few episodes. I'm sorry, a few matches for Ring of Honor, then Dynamite and Rampage, and then that was it. So it was a little over 3 hours long, which is better than the 5 hours it's been lately.
Yeah, yeah, we've experienced that. Well, we tried to endure one of their 5-hour show tapings, but at some point in time, it was just like, I'm sleepy. I've seen the main show. It's time to go. I'll catch it on replay.
Yeah, yeah. We left early because we were tired, but then went and had cigars till 2 in the morning. So
Okay,
that's a
that's
separate.
you're so mad.
Yeah, that's a thing that happened.
Yeah,
But on AEW, so I've been sort of hypercritical about the booking of the women's division, and I probably will continue to do so until something changes. But because
yeah,
it's very formulaic, right? The matches are typically the same time every week. It's a 7 minute match. 3 minutes of it is in commercial break. It ends, and then there's a beatdown, and it's the same thing every week. This week we did get something a little different. We got a new wrinkle in this story, which I thought was really well done. Um, and I was super happy that Willow Nightingale had the chance to wrestle Saraya on Dynamite. I'm like, that's a pretty
yes,
cool
yes.
spotlight for her.
Yes, yes, and just real quick to run this down. That Ring of Honor has been doing great with their women's division. Now I know Willow pretty much bounces through both shows, but for the most part, Ring of Honor has been showing women like Lady Frost, like Sky Blue, and then even right
Wasn't
now.
Ashley D'Amboise was on, right?
Yes, 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 she was. She did. She fought tonight. She fought tonight, and then even Robin Renegade. So they're right now the top three women that might have an opportunity just against Athena's championship is Robin Renegade, Willow Nightingale, and Sky Blue. So I mean, and these are continuous competitors on Ring of Honor who are also giving their women not only great matches, but time enough to actually get in there and tell a story and get you interested in what they're doing. So just a shout out again These two promotions being under the same umbrella are a little boggling to me. But Ring of Honor is doing something great with their women's division, so I really enjoy watching that.
Yeah, and just a side note, those three women you just mentioned, all three competed in Mission Pro Ring, so pretty
Of
cool.
course, of
We're
course.
everywhere.
So yeah,
Now that's very cool. But the wrinkle I mentioned was, at the end of that match, Saraya emerges victorious. She's celebrating.
yeah.
We see the outcasts. Hikaru Shida came out, which was very unexpected, and then looked like she
Mhm.
was going to attack the outcasts and then embrace them. I was like, okay, this is interesting. I didn't see it, and because Hikaru Shida is an original, like, why would she side with
Yeah,
them?
exactly, exactly. But at some point in time, I mean, for a second when she came out, it did make me feel like maybe because as an original, maybe she felt like she's not getting the respect that she deserved, and or is she an original AEW person considering that she always did indies in New Japan? So you always could just think about, well, not New Japan, but wrestled in Japan.
Mhm.
So you always kind of think about it like that. Everybody is not really an official, like homegrown AEW talent. So when she did come out, I was a little curious, and I did buy the fact that she was going to team up with the Outcast. I did,
But she didn't.
but she didn't.
No, I thought it was a cool way. It was a cool ruse to get them to sort of lower their guard. And, we were actually, we would do a watch along and we were with our group of friends saying, like, okay, this is sort of formulaic, but then it changed. And I was like, okay, this is something different. Like, now I'm interested. Like, they've got me thinking something. Now I'm not sure what's going to happen. So I did like the fact that they gave something a little different.
And not only just a little different, did you see her swinging that kendo stick? That has been the kendo stick has been the talk for the past couple of weeks. How and when to swing a kendo stick 101. But she laid some shots in there that made me believe, not even made me believe, you can see the whelps coming up instantly across the ladies' bodies. You knew she was there to handle business. That was all talent right there. So shouts out to AEW for at least that scene, and then Sheeta for making that come through the way she did.
Well, okay, so I'll take you a little bit in my personal life. Like, I trained in Kenjutsu and sword training for a long time. I'm
Okay.
telling you, the way that she carries that thing, she has definite training. She holds that like somebody who has used a sword in either in practice or maybe real life. I don't know, but she
All right.
definitely has some training. And you can tell by her swings, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. Those were all in there. So she did that great.
Yeah. So at least we've got that. That's interesting, and we're headed into Double or Nothing at the end of the month. There's still that card's still coming into focus, but
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see. I don't see anybody being built as a clear competitor for the AEW Women's Title right now. That's sort of in the mix. Jamie Hayter's there as sort of a
Yeah.
like sidekick to Britt Baker, and it is what it is. So we'll see. I'm still hoping for a returning Chris Statlander. I want Chris Statlander to come back and just run through the division and maybe take that title, or
Now
maybe
that's
Jade's title.
Mm. Well, we could talk about Jay's title too for a second, because what happened? Like, number one, if we just want to, just my thoughts on it. Like, why did we have this match so soon? Anyway, this is a story that they could have told for quite some time, or even leading up to a major pay-per-view event, such as the one that's happening in Vegas, All Out. Why did we have it on television, number one, and number two, the ending was so boggling. Like, what is going, I understand that there was a stipulation that Taya was not supposed to use that move. That's fine, I get that. But to get someone, and then again, when you're so used to doing something, it's natural, it's reflex to want to do that. I get that too. So I get the fact that she put Jade up, she was gonna hit her with the move, and then it's like, no, you can't do that. But at the same time, a roll up and then it's over. Like
Yeah.
this, they could have found a better way, in my opinion, to have some type of shenanigans. I would have preferred someone to interfere. I would have preferred someone to interfere in the match so that they could have some type of shenanigans, so that they could say that, you know what, Taya, we're gonna do this again at the next pay-per-view. But now it's like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know how you come back. I'm looking. I want to see what they do tomorrow. I want to see what happens, but I just don't know how to come back from what just happened. It was just, again, something that was confusing to me, and I don't know.
Okay, so a couple things come to mind as you're talking about this because I if you're watching AEW regularly, I have noticed, and maybe everybody notices this, but a lot of matches, and I mean a lot of matches, end with like interference or a brawl, or there's a lot of that stuff going
Okay.
on, and
Yeah.
it really takes away
Together. I
from
get that.
it
Yeah.
takes away from the legitimacy of to me, the legitimacy of the competition. So I was glad in that instance that it didn't end that way. It was a little wonky, but so either one of two things might happen. Like, okay, that's the finish, and they're going to move on, or maybe they'll have a rematch at the pay per view at Double or Nothing. Maybe that's where Taya finally gets a big win. But the other pattern that we've noticed in AEW is they make a lot of big debuts, and then like what happens to these people? Like Jay White was on Dark and Rampage, and he was like a manager last night, and he was on screen for a minute, and the even the debut was really like, you have like one of the biggest, hottest guys out there coming off of an incredible
It's
run
the
in New
Jay
Japan.
White, okay, from New Japan. Like, where's the respect in in his debut, in his matches, and no disrespect at all to Ricky Starks. I love Ricky Starks. I think he is one of the most talented, vibrant, just naturally magnetic talent that they have. But again, he's not top tier compared to your show. He's not. And then you brought Jay White in, who is definitely top tier in my mind, being a New Japan fan all day long. So again, but who am I? I'm just a
Yeah.
fan.
And I know we're typically focused on women's wrestling, but this all ties together because it's like Taya, Jay White, Roderick Strong, all recent debuts, and
Yeah.
they're all just sort of an afterthought. Like, kind of, what are we doing, right? So I
we
I
shall
hope they figure stuff out. We'll see, right?
we shall see. We
Yeah.
shall. I hope nothing but the best.
Shout
Because
out to
I'm
Pepe in the chat. I know you're late, but we're glad you're here. Good to
Hey,
see you.
Pepe.
Oh, MJF scarf in the chat. All right, let's
Wow.
go.
Long time no see.
Yeah,
Hey.
awesome. Thanks for joining us. Um, so that's, I mean, I didn't really have a lot of other thoughts on AEW. I feel like a lot of it is kind of the same route, wash and repeat. But
Yeah.
we did get some hints of maybe some different things. So I'll stay tuned, and we'll see. But I did want to ask you about any news from Impact.
Well, let's see. Impact, they had a wrestling match. Actually, did I catch the wrestling match this today where um hmm, I'm not sure. Okay,
Uh,
so let me give you. Okay, so I know Jordan Grace had a match against Masha Slamovich, and Deanna did a match against Taylor Wilde, which
mhm.
was great because I think Taylor is so talented. I really do. Even being a elder, as you can say, in the wrestling business, but she is so good in the ring, and I really think she's helping bring the story along really well. However, there's still that feud that with Masha and Jordan, which they're starting right now, and it's really starting to bubble up. I'm really want to see where that's going. I think Masha is ready to kind of show her dominance in a new light, and then she might even be able to defeat Jordan. But we'll see where that's going. And then again, Deanna is the champion, and everybody wants a shot at the champ right now. So I know that tonight they're debuting um, the the appearance, excuse me, of Trinity. So
Yes.
Trinity, formerly Naomi from WWE, will be debuting tonight. I didn't get a chance to watch Impact for tonight yet, so I'm looking forward to watching the replay and seeing what happens with that, and seeing what she says, and looking forward to what she's gonna do. Also, I was also had this thought. They're talking about Forbidden Door with AEW. I'm thinking, maybe hopefully with the women's division, we might be able to see a Mercedes Monet come through that door and wrestle. They're saying, all brands, women from, people from everywhere. Of course, I focus on what's happening mostly with the women, but I'm looking forward to that. And it gave me a thought today with that Forbidden Door. Maybe we'll see Mercedes and Trinity tag up together once again, like they did in WWE, and maybe fight somebody in AEW, or so many possibilities right now. But that Forbidden Door, it can give you some dream matches, hopefully, that everybody wants to see.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, the opportunities for all these companies to work together, and we get to see some of the women's wrestling matches that we might not get otherwise. So, yeah, I think I'm going to be really interested to see. And Forbidden Door is at the end of June, right? Neil keeps correcting me, but I think it's the end of June. So we've only got a little over a month.
Yeah, so I was thinking about that earlier. I'm like, this Forbidden Door, with some of the talent that we have right now that's not WWE talent, might be very interesting. I'm looking forward to see what happens with the women.
Agreed. Agreed. Well, that's all I have for tonight. Trenda, anything else before we let folks go?
No, I think that's pretty much it. I'm wrapping it up.
Okay. Where can people find you on the socials?
Well, at my new hashtag, at my new socials, Trenda Magellan with a J across all socials. That's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and everywhere else you can look to find me.
Nice. You can find me at PW Front Row on all the socials, and make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications for everything Mission Pro on our YouTube channel. Check us out across all the socials. As I mentioned earlier, sponsorship opportunities are open. Email us at missionprowrestling@gmail.com. Tickets are at missionprowrestling.com. And we are very excited for June 10th, but there's a
Yeah.
lot of stuff to do between now and then. So looking
Yeah.
forward to seeing y'all next week. Thanks everybody for joining. Have a
Go
great weekend.
sponsor a wrestler.
Yes, let's do